Welcome, William, to Insights at the Edge.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Most of the time, I'm trying to get, quote-unquote, in my body, meaning I feel a little ungrounded, and I want to make sure when I'm driving I'm not going to get into a car accident, so I'm doing things like breathing into my hands and feet and just trying to really get grounded as a person because I can get kind of dreamy. And yet here I am, I'm talking to you about out-of-body experiences. So let's just start right at the beginning. In spiritual life, we're trying to get in our body, out of our body. How do you see this?
I see this as the primary goal is to experience our spiritual essence. And whatever path we take to do that is valid for us.
Okay, and so the spiritual essence, tell me what you mean by that.
What many people perceive as a higher self, a non-form-based consciousness that exists in beyond all elements of three-dimensional form. In other words, our state that exists in its natural state beyond all three-dimensional realities.
So what's the relationship between this spiritual essence, to use your language, and the physical form, the physical body?
The physical body I perceive as a vehicle of consciousness that we use to learn and grow and explore the physical world, because all of us are explorers, because this isn't our natural habitat. We're only here for a temporary period of time. So each of us are essentially, when we enter a body, we have become explorers, entering this dense body. I perceive the entire physical world to be the epidermis layer of the universe. I know from my own out-of-body experiences that there's countless realities, subtle realities that exist inwardly. And that as we have an out-of-body experience, we're actually moving inward into the universe. And we're experiencing these other realities that exist.
Okay, now use this word epidermis. That means the skin?
Yes,
yeah?
The physical world is like the skin of an apple. And that when you leave your body or have an out-of-body experience, you're actually moving inward into the universe, into a finer vibratory level of reality. And you're experiencing your finer vibratory energy body.
Okay, so here you are. You're one of the world's leading experts on out-of-body experiences. Did you spontaneously have an out-of-body experience at a young age? Is that how you became interested in this? Did you just decide, this is my field of inquiry, how to leave the body and travel the inner dimensions of the universe?
No, not exactly. A friend of mine in college had a spontaneous out-of-body experience. And he come to me and shared his experience, and he got me excited about it. I was not a believer in the topic at all, never heard of it. And I decided, well, if he can have this experience, which so altered him, so changed him, I wanted to see if it was real myself. So I found that there were books available on the topic, and I began to do one of the techniques that I found, which I now call the target technique, where I essentially just focus my attention on three objects that were in my mother's home as I fell asleep every night. And into the third week of doing this, I awoken in my small dorm room. I was laying on my side, and when I reached out my hand actually entered the wall. And that's when it hit me that, oh my God, I've done it. Because I had to prove this for myself. And at that moment, I'd thought about standing. I'm standing by the foot of the bed, looking down at this lump, which was my body. And it was a shocking revelation. It changed my entire paradigm. I was fully aware, fully awake. It wasn't a dream. And I was existing consciously beyond my body. And I also realized quite quickly that there was someone else that I could see that was a non-physical person that was observing me. And to be quite honest, it scared me. And the next thing I knew was, bang, I was back in my body. That first experience changed everything for me. It opened up a whole new realm.
Okay, so let's try to break it down a little bit. So first of all, the target technique, you're imagining three physical objects in the home of your childhood. Yes. I get that. How did that lead to the experience of you being outside of your body such that you felt your quote-unquote hand through a wall?
Okay, the whole idea of many out-of-body exploration techniques is to maintain your focus away from your body.
Okay.
As you allow your body to just drift off. The primary premise is, of course, we go where our thoughts direct, just like we do in the physical world. But in this case, you're focusing 100% of your attention away from your body. This initiates the out-of-body experience for many people, and it's been proven to work for thousands and thousands of people.
So I'm taking all of my attention and I'm putting it in the swimming pool where I grew up, or a painting in the living room that I used to like to look at when I was a kid. So I'm fully outside of my physical form. I'm in imagination, right?
Well, you're focusing your awareness to a specific physical location. This technique is designed only for a physical reality location, not an imaginary place. It does not work if you're imagining something. This has to, the targets must be actual physical reality target for this technique to work.
Okay, but I mean, I'm imagining a picture. What if this picture was taken down by my mom and I didn't even know it, but you would
still be focusing your attention away from your body, and that's the act of doing that is what helps to initiate the entire separation process of out-of-body experiences.
Right. Okay. So now you said your hand was through the wall. So not your physical hand, right? So
my energy body hand, of course.
Your energy body hand was through the wall.
And of course, before that, I felt a high vibratory feeling throughout my body. That was totally, at that point, I was alien to me. I'd never had an experience like that. But as I reached out my hand and arm actually entered the wall, and I could feel the energy of it. But that's when it hit me. Because this is such a radical thing for many of us. It's unusual for many people to experience this. It certainly was for me.
Yeah.
And for me, it was important to prove it to myself, because I would have never believed it if somebody walked up to me and told me, Bill, you can leave your body. There's no way I would have accepted that as a reality. So the beauty of out-of-body exploration is that we do have this capability of verifying to our own expectations of what this is. And I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, that if I learn these techniques, I can do it and I can have my own experience, and then we can talk about it. Okay, but we're going to keep going with your experience for a moment here. So in this initial experience you had in college, then you said there was a being there that you felt a little afraid of. Who or what might this being have been? Well,
the being at the time, this was a guide, I feel now. At the time, I didn't know that.
Okay.
That's why it scared me. This is my first experience.
Yeah.
And now I know for a fact that this was one of my guides. And he was just observing. Now, generally, guides will stay out of your line of sight. But in this case, I did perceive him.
Okay. Now, here we are. We're sitting here and we're having this conversation in the Sounds True studio here in Boulder, Colorado. You've been with us here at Sounds True for the last few days, recording this audio series on how to have an out-of-body experience, a series of techniques you've been teaching people. Right now, as we're sitting here, in the midst of this conversation, could you initiate an out-of-body experience?
No, I could not.
Okay.
I have to be in an altered state of consciousness, very deep altered state. That's why in my workshops I use all kinds of techniques like hypnosis. I'm a certified hypnotherapist.
Okay.
And I take when people come to a workshop of mine, they have 3 hours of conditioning in deep hypnosis before we even do a technique.
Okay.
And then I have them going really down, deeply down into a completely relaxed state. And then we begin to actually do out-of-body exploration techniques. Very few people can actually initiate an experience from a waking state.
There has to be some kind of transitional.
Yeah, because you're transferring a large part of your consciousness to a different energy body.
Okay.
And that requires that the physical body, and for most people, to be completely relaxed and to be able to let go.
So this energy body, so I'm taking the energy out of my physical body, and you said, quote unquote, transferring it to an energy body.
That's a good question. We are multidimensional beings. We are a microcosm of the universe, and we already have multiple energy bodies. The concept of body, mind, spirit is actually a very simplistic view of the universe.